What's up, Finstock Nation? In today's episode of Finstock Nation by Rolling with Carlos, we're going to go ahead and cover the Miami Dolphins 2025 training camp day joint practice with the Detroit Lions. Hit the intro. Before reading news and notes of the joint practice, I'm going to go ahead and give you some key takeaways from Mike McDaniel's comments prior to practice. And there was an injury today during the joint practice to a key Miami Dolphins defensive player. These are the key takeaways from Mike McDaniel's comments. It was very intentional to bring our organization to Detroit and practice against this team based on the football they like to play. I love Dan Campbell and his approach. It's very authentic. So yeah, I'm expecting people who have intensity to come to practice and challenge the opposing team. On Grant Stewart's comments, after Lions linebacker Grant Stewart questioned whether the Dolphins practice how we practice, Mike McDaniel dismissed it. Literally does not affect me whatsoever. I think there's a lot of noise, and I would file that into the noise category. Coach Mike McDaniel emphasized that the joint practices were carefully planned to challenge his team with physicality and intensity. Praising Detroit's authentic approach under Dan Campbell, he also downplayed external commentary as mere noise and emphasized focused on improving performance rather than getting distracted by talk. The player that went down during practice was defensive lineman or edge Chop Robinson. He was carted off the field. I'm going to give the credit to Dolphins Nation, but this is what he said in his Instagram. Breaking. Chop Robinson says on Instagram that he's good despite leaving today's practice with an injury. I'm good, y'all. Nothing serious. That's what he wrote on his Instagram. I'm good, y'all. Nothing serious. Now let's go ahead and get to the news and notes of today's practice. Dolphins Chop Robinson, good after leaving Lions joint practice on cart, plus stock up, stock down. Miami Dolphins outside linebacker Chop Robinson was taken off the practice field on a cart at Wednesday's joint practice against the Detroit Lions. It is unclear what was ailing Robinson, last year's first-round pick, who posted 6 sacks as a rookie. The standout edge rusher out of Penn State was then seen transported by car separate from the team buses. At the end of the day's drills, as the Dolphins were vacating Mearger Performance Center, where they will return for a second consecutive joint session with the Lions on Thursday. Fortunately, the Dolphins, in a sigh of relief, Robinson released a statement moments after the practice in an Instagram post. I'm good, y'all. Nothing serious. According to a league source, it was not a head injury. Robinson went down on a play where there was a scramble for a loose ball. As linebacker Jordan Brooks forced a fumble on Detroit running back David Montgomery. It's difficult to assess such injury situations from a distance. A week and a half into camp, fellow edge defender Jaylen Phillips also went down in a scary situation, but similarly relieved concerns observers with a social media post noting it was a bruise to the knee. Also, recall earlier in camp, wide receiver D. Estridge left practice on a cart, and it was merely leg cramps. He returned the next day. Cornerback Hader Cole walked off the practice field, but it turned out he sustained a season-ending knee injury. Dolphins Mike McDaniel spoke ahead of today's practice, so he had no update on Robinson's injury after the session. He's expected to address his status Thursday morning. Other observations from the joint practice session. It was a lopsided practice where the Dolphins' offense rarely made much happen, and the defense was torn up by the combination of quarterback Jared Goff throwing to wide receiver Amon St. Brown. Sam Brown was having his way with the Dolphins cornerback, Jack Jones, and whoever else lined up in front of him. The All-Pro selection the past 2 years and a pair of touchdown receptions in a red zone drill, and he punted the ball in the air after one of those catches. Sam Brown also got the best of Jones in a one-on-one rep. Tua Tagovailoa was sacked several times. 11 and 11 drills started with him sacked. He was a victim to back-to-back sacks on a later drive through the combination of leak pass protection and Detroit coverage in the secondary. Tagovailoa did not throw an interception after he threw 3 against Chicago last Friday. He was forced into several throwaways. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill was not seen doing any drill work against the Lions, and Jaylen Waddle was limited in team drills with a restricted snap count. Most likely, McDaniel will be very judicious in utilizing either wide receiver, who McDaniel said are day-to-day. Waddle appeared to score a touchdown from Tagovailoa on a screen pass in red zone drills. The officials may have ruled he would have been tackled as Waddle put moves on Lion DBs. Tagovailoa hit running back Jevon down the sidelines in an early 7-on-7 play. Detroit right tackle Penei Sewell stopped Robinson one-on-one before Robinson got hurt. It's no surprise that Sewell is one of the best in the league, so he gives Robinson good competition to go against. The day started a little better for the offense early on when tight end Julian Hill beat linebacker Grant Stewart for a reception in an early one-on-one drill. Stewart, of course, made the now infamous comment that basically asked whether the Dolphins would be ready to match the Lions' intensity in practice. Stewart was later seen tracking running back Ollie Gordon II on a wide run and tackling on the ground. In online D-line one-on-one work, Lions' Aiden Hutchinson started it by swooping around Dolphins right tackle Larry Broom. Left tackle Patrick Paul forced a rush by edge Mitchell Agood to go wide. Defensive tackle Kenneth Grant, the first-round pick, won one-on-one reps versus Detroit's Tate Bradledge. Offensive linemen Jackson Carman and Braden Daniels were seen winning reps. Quarterback Zach Wilson was intercepted twice in 7-on-7 drills, first by safety Ian Kenley off a deflection and then by Nick Whiteside. Wilson responded from the INTs with a nice pair of throws, one down the field to wide receiver A.J. Henney. Tagovailoa overthrew wide receiver Nick Westbrook over the top in 7-on-7 drills. Julian Hill earlier was open over the top but dropped the pass. To start 11-on-11 work, Tua was sacked. The sack seemed to come from vicinity of Paul. HN was in pass protection. HN had a nice gain coming around on a run with some misdirection. Center Aaron Brewer was getting after it, finding someone to block downfield. On back-to-back Wilson throws to the deep sideline, one overthrow to wide receiver D. Estridge, then he had an underthrow to wide receiver Tyreek Black. While Jones struggles to match up against Sam Brown, he had a pass breakup. Fellow cornerback Isaiah Johnson made an open field tackle. New running back Mike Boone fumbled in the red zone, punched out by safety Eric Hallett II. Dolphins 2-minute drill. At the end of practice, Tagovailoa hits Julian Hill for short gains on back-to-back plays. On 3rd and 4, Broom flagged for false start on 3rd and 9 from the 21-yard line. Lions break up a pass to Estridge on 4th and 9. Tagovailoa pass to running back Jaylen Wright sails high and is incomplete. Turnover on downs. Dolphins 2-minute defense. Goff 25-yard completion to Sam Brown. Goff to tight end Shane Zylstra, complete to the 19-yard line. On 3rd and 2 from Miami's 19, Goff threw high to cornerback Ethan Bonner's side. He had blanketed coverage, but Brooks was flagged for defensive holding, covering tight end Sam Laporta. Goff was 4 or 5 passing on that possession. There was a quick scuffle to the end of Dolphins-Lions practice. It was hard to see who was at the heart of it, but some said it was between Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams and Miami safety Ifeatu Malofalu. There had been a few scrimmages on the field where the Dolphins defense went against the Lions, but the other field was relatively clean. Dolphins not seen participating in practice. Edge rusher Jaylen Phillips, lower left leg. Right tackle Austin Jackson, lower extremity. Fullback Alec Ingold, concussion protocol. Safety Aston Davis, lower left leg. Edge rusher Mo Kamara, unknown. Guard Keon Smith, unknown. Center Andrew Meyer, unknown. Offensive tackle Brian Matos, upper body. Safety Elijah Campbell, who started last week's preseason opener at Chicago, but left the game with an injury, was participating but didn't do team drills. Stock up. On a day where there weren't many positives to take away from the Dolphins' performance, Brooks at linebacker forced a fumble on Montgomery and had a few strong team reps in coverage. He's leading the defense well from the middle in the front 7 and had some moments against the run. Stock down. Cornerback Doc Jones was getting picked on by Goff. Sam Brown had his way with Jones when he was covering him, and the newcomer in the Miami secondary was hearing it from the Lions sidelines. They chirped at him. He had some elevated opportunities as a cornerback that needs to step up and earn the starting role. But the torturing he received from Sam Brown offers an indication of what things could look like at this moment. What things could look like at this moment. Thought that was a typo, but it's not, guys. All right, guys, there you have it. Final thoughts. Another bad joint practice. They had a bad joint practice with the Bears. Again, they need depth. They need cornerbacks. They need offensive linemen, and they just need overall depth. The 2 running backs, like I said in the previous video, don't impress me. So hopefully they'll go get corners, and hopefully they can get more depth on the offensive line, and hopefully they can get a real 4th back after Madison is on injured reserve and done for the year. Like always, leave me your thoughts down below, and I appreciate your support. And like always, go Dolphins, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.